This video is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, so use the link in the description below to get 5% off your order and to help support the show. Will they save Jace Beleren? With 10 walkers in the latest set, 5 of which were completed by the Phyrexians at the end of the storyline of All Will Be One, we now have the situation of 5 of the iconic walkers, and I say iconic, no one really cared about Luca, right? But 5 of them are now Phyrexian. Will they get undone? What is the next steps with that? So I wanted to talk about that today, about the resolution of this story arc. Let's firstly talk about Nahrir before we move on to Jace. I think Nahrir got done dirty. I don't think they should have made her Phyrexian, as it took away the one real human villain or antagonist we had. I don't necessarily agree with the phrase that she was an anti-hero. I guess she was a bad girl turned good in the latest arc. She was, in the past, relatable, even if you couldn't quite get behind the wanton destruction and violence that she used to get to her ends. I'm not a big fan of going out of our way to rationalize or humanize villains constantly. It's a weird hole that popular culture and popular media has gotten itself into over the last the last decade or so, with the constant need for prequels, origin stories, and explanations of shit. No, I don't want to know why Han Solo is called Han Solo, or why he calls Chewie Chewie. And no, Cruella de Vil's mother being murdered by Dalmatians is not the clever post-irony twist that Disney writers thought it was. The whole Thanos' right thing can be great. It can be, especially when it's looked at in world. That's one of the great things about the post-Endgame Marvel thing in Captain America and the Winter Soldier, or whatever, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We see that the world is saying that he was right because of the inequality and the problems that the world is facing as people come back from the snap. It's interesting storytelling. It's interesting storytelling that mirrors issues people are facing in the real world. I know, goddammit, get politics out of my TV shows and games. And then you can have villains like Magneto fighting for a perverted version of the equality that we all crave for. It's an interesting direction to take a villain. It gives you a reason or an idea of why they're doing what they're doing. And to be clear, Nahrir is never justified in unleashing an eldritch space monster come nuke onto the plane of Innistrad filled with innocent people. I don't agree with what she did, but at least understand why she's doing it. She is absolutely racked with anger, rage, and revenge after Zendikar was ruined and Sorin didn't help her. And by comparison, Mustache twirling Nicol Bolas and the undecipherable space gods from beyond time and the BDSM torture Borg are all good. Hell, I'll go as far as to say they're great. I love all 3 of these villains with a big amount of passion, but none of them really tug a personal, albeit over the top feeling of, yeah, I kind of get what you're doing. Revenge is a lot more emotionally resonating than the pursuit of perfection or absolute power. In removing Nahrir, we lost the one, and I really mean it, the one true human villain that we have that I think was good in Magic. There are characters like Oko floating around. I was going to mention Tybalt now until I realised when writing the notes that Tybalt's also gone, in theory. Yeah, losing Nahrir was a big blow in my opinion. I'm going to link down below to Kristen's article on this too. She goes into detail about the tropes and the overuse of the removal of white man-aligned heroes in addition to all of this. Basically, I agree with her on everything except for the fact that Nahrir was an anti-hero. I think Nahrir kind of was looking for... I don't know, that's up for debate. Secondly, let's talk about Jace getting got. It's a big shock moment to see the dude who the game's font is named after get killed, or at least completed. In the story, it's described as his corpse getting back up, to use the exact terms, after Elspeth have stabbed him. Strong suggestion that he died before the Phyrexian nano oil naughty bots brought him back to life. Cool, good, great. As much as I actually quite like Jace as a character, I dislike his edgy boy, brooding, hooded visual style, but as a main character, and a character in the game, not main, but as a character in the game, I like him being around. I have no real qualms with him apart from him being, in theory, overused, but I've discussed this in previous videos about how I don't think he's as overused as people think he is. Seeing one of the main characters, though, get got is a big shockwave moment. It shakes some foundations and tells you that actually people aren't safe in this story. However, there are 2 ways they can fail to follow up on this and completely undermine themselves. Firstly, that we don't see more tragedy and more casualties of the coming war. I know there is a chatter on the internet that Magic shouldn't be tragic or downbeat because there's too much of that in our real lives, but to that I say that's not what art's about, okay? Art can be about anything, narrative can be about anything, story can be about anything. If they want to tell a tragedy for a while, more power to them. If we only see half the assault force get got now, and then don't continue to see the price of the battles and the overall war on our heroes and the people around them, then it feels like a hollow threat. One that only hurts them when plot armor shields are down during telegraphed epic moments, when it's signposted confrontations, like this one, or the crescendo moments that are sure to come. And beyond that, there's another point too. If completion ends up meaning nothing, if time wibbly wobbly undoes it all easily, or the cure just cures them, or the metal falls out of them and they magically regrow the parts that are lost. Look, I get that this is Magic the Gathering, and I get that magic exists in canon. I understand that completely. But I think that if you use that excuse to make completion mean nothing, then from a story standpoint, it literally meant nothing. The stakes were never lower. I am not against hopeful and positive resolutions. I'm not begging for misery, pain and anguish across the board all the time. But I want the story beats to matter and to have a lasting effect. Nahrir may need to sacrifice herself to save just one of them at least. Maybe one of them is saved and comes back as a Locutus Borg style character. Something with their arc is that they want nothing but the complete eradication, to a fault perhaps, of the enemy, Moby Dick and his whale style. But the thing is, we've already had that. That was kind of Khan's arc to an extent. He was obsessed with the idea that Phyrexians are coming back. And we've already had Nahrir being quite obsessed with the idea that the Eldrazi are really a menace and being very angry at Sorin, to the point that her and Sorin battled during the War of the Spark away from everyone else. They have this age-old rivalry. We've already had characters that are dead set and focused on individual things to varied extents. Khan's arc is kind of the Moby Dick to an extent, but he hasn't got the anger or the upset, the frustration or the want for revenge that Nahrir had. Khan's a double whammy though, with the fact that no one believed him. He was the person that no one took seriously until it was too late. Oh Khan, you poor sod. And this leads me to my final point today. I am confident Jace isn't dead. Disney does not kill the mouse, and Marvel might have killed Tony Stark to give us a resolution in Endgame that made us all ultimately forgive the time wibbly wobbly answer. But Robert Downey Jr. just got signed for 4 more movies, for fuck's sake. Like, he's not gone. This dude has collectible shoes and games fonts named after him. But more importantly, his phoresis on his card. This is the bit where I want to come to. The visual look of his completion is so subtle, and it hardly has any actual impact on his physicality or his appearance. He has a metal arm and some little tentacles. Meanwhile, Nahrir was completed maybe half an hour before he was in canon, and somehow has 1,000 blades for arms, and will never be able to wipe her own arse again without fear of nicking an important pipe or artery and just bleeding out on the shitter. Meanwhile, if Jace gets repaired, I don't know why I said like that, if Jace gets repaired, he might just be left with a metal arm reminder of his time in the collective. And what's not cooler and edgier than a brooding, hooded hero with a robot arm and an aching that he doesn't belong anymore? His hand is 7 of 9's hand implants, magic style. And it also opens up more story around his loss to Vraska. There is interesting places they can take this. His pain in seeing his love lost to Phyrexians. In some ways I hope they deliver something with this, something interesting. Like if they bring him back, he's lost his spark and retires to be the Gatewatcher's Barbara Gordon in the Watchtower. As time goes on, he ages quicker than the rest of the Walkers because time is passing. Although now with a multiversal story, that's probably not something I want to explore. They don't want to make Thalia age faster than Teferi, for example. But anyway, Jace aging, Jace secluded, Jace a hermit, Jace a character they go to confide in, and in rare occasions because he can no longer planeswalk. Or maybe he takes the bomb deep into the blind eternities and detonates it to rupture the multiverse and collapse the travelling between planes as a final act of self-sacrifice, or final act to stop the existential threat that is the phoresis spreading through the multiverse. I don't know, I'm spitballing here. I'm just throwing out stuff. These are not really well-rounded or well-developed stories, but they are places they could take the story that might be interesting beyond, oh, he's better now and he's just back being part of the recurring cast. I think that is narratively both boring and a letdown, and it ultimately undermines the whole idea of giving us shock moments and loss during big conflict. Please don't do that, Wizards. I sure as hell hope it isn't just Robocop Jace with all his old abilities back and his old traits, but with a snazzy new hand. That would suck. But what do you think? Let me know in the comment section below how you feel about Phyrexianized Jace. Do you think he's coming back? And what is your theory for how they're going to undo all of this? Is it time wibbly wobbly? Do you think Ashiok's just doing it all as a dream? That's another one I read yesterday. Let me know in the comment section below. I've been Vince, also PleasantKenobi on the internet. Hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you all soon. Ta-ta for now.